This young man is a person with superpowers. But Ju-won's ability is unique. That is replacing superheroes. About 25 years ago, some people with superpowers appeared on Earth and caused the whole world to fall into chaos. Hot weapons, almost useless to these people. Power users, disobeying the law and pursuing interests, called criminals. And some others, stand up for justice and stop them, called a hero. Among heroes, the most famous person is Drop TC. He opened up the world of heroes, where guys in tight suits wear masks, running wild on the street. Although I also want one, wear red briefs outside. But Ju-won's superpower doesn't allow that. Your superpower, only copying someone's appearance is allowed. And obviously it's impossible to fight crime. Just by face is fine. But fortunately, this superpower can be used as a fishing rod. There are many heroes who have come and signed a contract with Ju-won. His schedule was almost full the whole month and earn a decent amount of money every day. Today, after completing work, Ju-won returned home and lay down on the bed, dreaming of a beautiful life after retirement at age 50. At that moment, there was a fateful knock on the door. Completely changing his life suddenly rang out. As soon as Ju-won opened the door, he almost had a heart attack in surprise. The person standing in front of him was Justice, the most famous hero. As soon as he saw Zugal, Justice spoke up. You are Lee Ju-won. You are doing something illegal. When transforming into heroes, live in their normal lives. Right now, Ju-won's mouth was open in surprise, feeling extremely worried. Justice, he knows. That's why he came here to arrest me? Should I run away? But how can I run when your opponent is righteous? Ju-won was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Then Justice suddenly spoke up. I came here just to hire you to become me, living my everyday life, like other heroes. After Ju-won heard it, he suddenly woke up, pointed and asked if he was hiring me. But for what reason? Justice replied seriously. I know. You and I shouldn't ask personal questions. I brought everything you need. Justice put down one on the ground. Big suitcase. Inside contained all the information he needed. Ju-won looked at it and gently reminded him. There is no photo of Jusk in the pile of documents, so can't work. Justice didn't hesitate and took off his mask. Reveal your true face. This is the first time someone knows Justice's true identity. If this was announced, it would shock the whole world. But Ju-kan knows that. My job must put security first. Otherwise, you will die. After viewing all documents, Ju-won accepts the job and asks for time and place. Justice immediately put the mask back on. Then say Ju-won tomorrow. Arrive at the destination listed on the business card. Ju-won didn't have time to say another word. Then the opponent jumped out. Disappeared into the dark night. He held a business card in his hand. And I have a bad feeling about this. The next day, Ju-won goes to the address written on the business card. Standing under a skyscraper, Ju-won could only gasp in surprise. He didn't know how long he had to work. Just enjoyed things like this. Then Ju-won went inside with a worried mood. Justice is at the forefront of protecting the people, the city, and I have to transform into him. And I don't understand why he hired me. But I can't let a big fish like him go. If I do well, I can prolong this job for a long time. Ju-won, after arriving at the assigned room, then go straight inside.
Catch your eyes.
Is a luxury apartment. And Jusk was sitting in the middle of the room. Ju-won tried to act calm, then pulled the contract out of his pocket. Okay, let's get down to business. First, some terms please fill in here. But the scene before my eyes scared him to the core. Justice, the strongest hero. Yet the whole person, covered in blood, sat still and did not move. Ju-won was so scared that he peed his pants and was in chaos. Is he dead? Number one hero, but who did this? Be calm, maybe he's still alive. With that hope, Ju-won reached forward and tried to shake the person who fell. But you just touched it. Then, suddenly, many blinding blue lights appeared. These rays of light continuously penetrated Young Won's body, then pushed the two people away. Ju-won was shot and fell to the ground, dizzy. He still hasn't regained his composure. Look what the hell just happened. Then suddenly I realized my arm had changed. Ju-won shouted in panic. His current mood was extremely panicked. But now he knows what is most important. Ju-won looked at the cold corpse in front of him. Then definitely run away. What's going on? It's definitely a source of energy. Has flowed into my body. But first I have to leave this place. Although I don't know what happened. But stay here. It will only drag me into this mess. We must quickly report this to the Hero Association. Ju-won hugged her transformed arm. Then he flew out of the building. Right now. He bumped into someone and spilled a cup of coffee on him. Ju-won was about to apologize when the other person spoke up. Isn't that you, copycat? Why are you here? Ju-won looked closely. That was the hero he copied the other day. Kim Seon-go. He seemed angry because coffee was spilled on him, and planned to settle accounts with Ju-won. Ju-won was now happy to meet his great acquaintance. I can be annoying, but Kim Seon-gu is still a high-level hero. I need to try a few things. Kim Seon-gu saw Ju-won always holding his arm and wondered, "Why are you holding your arms like that?" Ju-won immediately raised his arm to explain. Then I discovered everything was back to normal. Kim Seon-go was now angry and said enough was enough. Do you know how much this shirt costs? Even if you can do it. I can't buy it for the rest of my life. Correct. At this time, both of them were attracted by strange noises. Then suddenly a tentacle came out of nowhere. Drill a hole in Kim Seon-go's side. By the time both of them realized it, it was too late. A criminal with 4 tentacles on his back broke the glass and rushed in. The criminal wore a hood that covered his body, just showing off my weird face. He grinned and said, "Look. Isn't this the hero that was featured on the news? You're just a child. Didn't expect that." He recognizes Kim Seon-go's heroic status, but still dare to actively aim. When Young-won saw that, his face changed color and he became even more frightened. Moreover, it is a criminal who attacks with tentacles. Isn't he the one who killed TC? Right now, Kim Seon-go got angry because he was looked down on. He used his power to create fire, covers the entire body and cauterizes the wound to stop the bleeding. Son of a bitch, I'll turn you into deep-fried octopus. Don't think much. Kim Seon-go just kept rushing forward like an idiot. Before Kim Seon-go's mighty attack, the criminal quickly used his tentacle to stick it into the ceiling. Then pull yourself up into the air. Him after dodging the attack. Then immediately use tentacles to counterattack. When Kim Seon-go saw this, a fierce fire broke out. Knock the tentacles away. Then he proudly rushed forward. Damn octopus. Your whole body will be deep-fried. The criminal nevertheless showed a sinister smile. He had calculated all his attacks in advance. The tentacles immediately grabbed Kim Seon-go. Then tighten. The number of tentacles is now much greater. And they are absolutely not afraid of Kim Seon-go's fire. Previous signs of weakness. Just to catch him off guard. But that's it. You think I only have 4 tentacles? How immature are the normal people around there? After seeing the hero was also defeated by 7. So extremely panicked. Trample each other and run away. Only Ju-won stood there with his mouth open in surprise. Unbelievable. Seon-woo was captured so easily. After struggling for a while, Kim Seon-go was exhausted. Let go of the criminal. See that? Then he was no longer interested and threw him to a corner. Then turn the target on ordinary people. He's crazy. Attack and kill people without any hesitation. We are having fun, aren't we? Ha ha ha. Ju-won is now hiding in a corner. Hope that other heroes will come and deal with this criminal. Correct. At this moment, his eyes fell on a leaflet with a falling photo. The people next to us also continuously encourage each other. It's okay. This place falls under the jurisdiction of Justice Judicai. He will arrive soon. That's right, Judicai will process it within a few minutes. These people are clever. When I was even more optimistic than a green tea fan. Right now there is only Ju-won. Know that. It's just how desperate the situation is. Justice cannot come here. This means everyone here must die. Waiting for a hero. You can't even come here. But I can't do anything either. The opponent is a criminal. He's someone I can't beat. I'm not even a hero. Just when Ju-won is desperate. Accept the cruel reality. Then suddenly the cry of a little girl rang out. That's also the case with the murderer. But turned his attention to the girl. Seeing this, Ju-won ignored his own safety and shouted loudly. Don't sit there anymore. Run away. But criminals don't let go so easily. He smiled sinisterly. Then used tentacles to rush towards the girl. That little mouse. Where do you think you can run away? Little girl now. Still don't know the danger I'm about to encounter. But still sitting in place. Ju-won witnessed this scene and suddenly remembered the past. His legs automatically stood up. Then he rushed towards the girl. This feeling of helplessness. Ju-won doesn't want to experience it again. He rushed forward and grabbed the tentacle with his bare hands. My mind is still spinning in confusion. Idiot, what am I doing? There's no way I can catch it. Cannot be right. At this moment, Ju-won's arm suddenly emitted blue light. The arm transformed before and somehow grasped the tentacle with ease, until Ju-won has time to reshape. Then he activated his ability. All the time, he has transformed into the appearance of justice like this time. There's something very strange. Not just looks, but Ji-won's power has also changed. To verify my guess, he used his hand to gently tug it. Fly away the criminal's tentacles. The criminal seemed to be broken. One arm continuously screamed in pain. Ju-won now plays the role of Justice and said proudly, I don't know what's going on here, but under the authority of hero law. Thing 1, you will be arrested. Despite already possessing the power of Justice. But when faced with a real criminal, Ju-won is also a bit worried. My whole body is filled with strength. To the point where I can't control it. But this is my first time dealing with a criminal. I can do it. Okay, the criminal is now sweating like rain. He tried to calm down and recover. The tentacles were torn off. Don't rejoice too soon. I can recreate as many tentacles as I want. Once you're caught, your life will be over. Just like that heroic brat. He just shouted loudly. Just used all the tentacles I had. To attack towards Ju-won. But in Ju-won's eyes right now, everything happens extremely slowly. You don't need to try anything. Tentacles can also be easily avoided. Then get close to the criminal's face. The criminal did not have time to understand what was happening. Then I got punched right in the face. Fly out the back. But he had not yet reached the ground. Then Ju-won grabbed him. The tentacle pulled back and threw it hard at the opposite wall. Even Ju-won was surprised. Before the power I have within me. It's crazy. I only pushed lightly, but he surprisingly flew away. In fact, I still cannot control this power. Maybe something will happen. While Ju-won is overwhelmed. Before his power. Then the criminal woke up from his shock. I know I have no chance of winning. So I decided to rush forward and risk my life like a moth. Ju-won saw that and gathered strength in his fist. Prepare him to go see naked cocks. But when he was most confident, his strength failed. Ju-won can no longer feel the energy. On the arm again. Everything seems to be back to how it was before. Obviously, he cannot control this transformation of his body. Things suddenly became extremely bad. Now Ju-won only carries Jusk's code. But there's no power at all. If you get hit by this attack, you'll definitely die. At that moment, a ray of yellow light suddenly shot out. Knock the criminal away. Jung-won's life was narrowly saved. But I still don't understand what just happened. His face showed confusion. Turns out, the owner of that yellow light was a heroine. After receiving the news, she immediately came here. Fortunately, that saved Zhu Wan's life. As soon as she arrived, she jumped towards Zhu Wan. Then nourish your brain. As expected of you, Justicy. You knew I would come, right? After all, he has excellent hearing. And he attracted the criminal's eyes. So that I can attack. Right? Young Won doesn't even know who this person is. Seems like a hero with no reputation. He tried to answer briefly to get it over with. But it seems this girl is a big fan of TC. So just keep talking. At that moment, the criminal emerged from the rubble. Then quickly ran away. Before leaving, he did not forget. Fulfill your duty as criminals. It's leaving behind some dirty words. Damn it, just wait. I will come back. But he only ran a few steps. Then the heroine shot light from her eyes.
Destroy un spot.
After killing the criminal, the heroine turned her head to look for Rotk to ask for an autograph. But I couldn't see anyone. At this moment, another mysterious heroine stepped forward. Even her senses couldn't see it. There are a lot of injured people, right? Pink-haired heroine. As soon as you're done, run away immediately. Care for the injured. And the mysterious heroine. Then he turned his eyes to Ju Won, trying to run away. It seems like she knows some secret. After returning home, Ju Won immediately destroyed Jusk's papers. He didn't want to get into any trouble. No need at all. At this moment, his hand was still numb, because of the huge source of energy. Before, he was not clear where this energy came from, and how to control it. After destroying all documents, Ju Won puts them in a trash bag, then take it downstairs and throw it away as usual. His mood is extremely confused now, and always think about how to do it well. What should I do now? Justicy is the #1 hero, but it was unexpected. He was captured by an unknown criminal. Kill. That criminal must have been much stronger than him, because I was so scared. So I forgot to transform into someone else to leave. I hope no one sees me. At this moment, a voice rang out from behind Ju Won. I know Ju Won turned around in panic. But there was no sign of anyone. But the voice continued to sound. He destroyed evidence with a machine. Destroy your documents carefully. Young Won kept looking around. See where the voice comes from. Suddenly from the shadow of, out came a woman. This is the mysterious heroine from before. Ju Won was so scared that he fell back to the ground. Tiny peed his pants. After emerging from the shadow, mystical heroine summons pitch-black arms from his shadow. Then reach towards the garbage bag that Ju Won had just thrown away. The arms. Then tear up the trash bag. Then reassemble each document completely. Ju Won was still sitting on the ground. His face looked shocked at the absurdity that had just happened. The mysterious heroine finished reading the documents. Then speak up. Now it's clear. You saw the TC die, right? I'm sorry. But you knew something you shouldn't have known. She radiated strong murderous aura. Her shadow expanded and surrounded Ju Won. In an instant, Ju Won instinctively jumped far back. So the attack can be avoided. Just slow down for a moment. It's you who's already broken to pieces. There is no other way. Ju Won turns into a drop. And intend to use the power of the morning. To be able to investigate the truth about Justicie's death. As well as the source of this mystical power. Ju Won was forced to capture the woman in front of him alive. Mystical heroine. Seeing that Ju Won did not obediently accept death. Then immediately control his shadow to attack. The black tentacles continuously rushed towards Ju Won. Everything targets weak points. Although it is impossible to grasp these tentacles. But luck is this style of attack. Quite similar to the way criminals fight. First that Ju Won confronts. With the power of just, he could easily dodge the tentacles. Approach and attack the target. But right at the most important moment, the mysterious energy source suddenly disappeared. Ju Won's ability gradually loses its effectiveness. And turn back to normal. At this point, he could only do his best. Just avoid places that are vulnerable to attack. The mysterious heroine saw this and smiled scornfully. Ha, in the end you're just a useless imitator. I wonder who is brave enough to act like Justicey. It's tasteless to say the least. She immediately delivered the finishing blow without holding back. In the moment of life and death, Ju-won still did not give up protesting. He used his left arm. There's still energy left to carve out a piece of concrete. Used as a shield to deflect attacks. Afterward, he used all his strength to rush forward. Like the reaction ability of a hero. More than a normal person. Lots of mystical heroines. Quickly used tentacles to attack Ju-won. Ju-won used a concrete block to block the attack. Then took the opportunity to rush forward and make a full-force jaw hook. Seeing the other person step back, Ju-won immediately stepped forward. She is confused. I need to get close to her now. But suddenly, his body could no longer move. The mysterious heroine also stopped. You did a great job, but it ends here. You see, now your body is in my skill. Ju-won was still tied up by the shadow. Could this be a ninja from the Leaf Village? Jung-won used all his strength to struggle. But then he was tied up by tentacles. The energy source has now completely disappeared, and his body returned to normal. Standing before a hero. So normal people. There was absolutely no chance of resistance. Ju-won was squeezed tightly by the tentacles, to the point of not being able to breathe. The face is purple. He couldn't even scream now, let alone speak. It's time to get out. Mystical heroine. After observing for a while, it seems like I discovered something. She snapped her fingers and all the tentacles disappeared. Ju-won fell to the ground, full of doubts. Why would she release me now? The heroine spoke up. Do you have any plans for the future? Ju-won tried his best to stand up and asked again. What do you mean? The heroine immediately squeezed Ju-won's mouth like a puppy. No need to transform into someone else anymore. You will have a new future. Will you become Justicey's replacement? Hero Ju-won's face appeared after hearing it. You don't understand. What the hell is this woman trying to say? The heroine now continued. Justicey is the embodiment of all heroes. If news of his death is announced, it will create large-scale panic. But I found you. A replacement. It is possible to prolong the time before being detected. As soon as Ju-won heard it, he shouted loudly, Wait a minute. You just intended to kill me. Why should I listen to you? Who is she really? Now the new heroine introduces her background. I am Yumi, a hero under the command of Justicey. Seeing that Ju-won doesn't seem to believe in me, Zombie immediately continued. If you don't believe it, you can check the pile of documents that just gave him in there too. Ju-won heard that and immediately rushed over. Newly restored pile of documents. This young man is doing his job wrongly. Carefully review the documents provided by the customer. After a while of searching, Ju-won confirmed it. What the zombie said is true. Seeing Ju-won gaping in surprise, Zombie continued to explain. I'm not at the point of wanting to kill yet. The one who knew about the captain's death. So just scare him a little. So if you agree to be his replacement, then the money you will receive monthly is 100 million. Just heard this number. Ju-won was so surprised that he couldn't speak. 100 million. My most expensive thing is not even half of it. Although he loves money, Ju-won is still sober. He clearly understood how dangerous this was. Should ask again, but how? I can be his replacement. What should I do if I am arrested? Chomi immediately reassured. Don't worry too much. They'll help you stop that from happening. It looks delicious. But Ji-won doesn't want to make a hasty decision. But I want to think more carefully. Chomi saw that and continued to manipulate her mind. I won't force you. But if there are rumors among the people they are dead, then criminals will operate on a large scale. Because the hero's symbol was no longer alive. Gangs will wage war, fight against heroes, and countless people will die anytime during the fight. So think carefully. What is the right decision? After Zu-won heard it, His mood suddenly became confused. Can I do the same things as him?
Prime kan stanite.
Seeing innocent people die. Once again seeing Zoo 1 hesitate, Zombie 7 hopes to leave. It seems like I made too much of a request for you. That's enough, I shouldn't have relied on you in the first place. As long as you keep Justin Z's death a secret, it's okay. At this moment, Ju 1 spoke up. Wait, I've got trouble thinking. When considering the risk, guaranteed stable work and security, then 100 million is not enough. At least 200 million, don't you think? Looks like Ju 1 has made her decision. He smiled. Smile brightly. When it comes to the amount of money I want to receive. Even though he seems to love money. But you understand. If you don't have a network, what's the use of so much money? It all comes from the heart. Just Ju 1's justice. Zombie also knew this well, so he smiled. Remember not to turn your back on your choice. And so the replacement hero was born. A week later, Yu 1 was almost exhausted. Because reading a bunch of documents related to Jotk. He remembered important information. And quite sure. Can deal with common situations. Right now. Yumi appeared and announced that she had to go. In the car, Yu 1 read the documents and asked questions. Can I ask you something? Besides the criminals. Then do we need to hide the death of Jusk? With other heroes, no. Perhaps the superiors don't know about this? Zombie used his driving ability while answering. That's usually true. But to avoid unwanted things. Then we must keep it a secret. You will know when you see it with your own eyes. After a while, both of them arrived at their destination. As soon as he arrived, Ju 1 wondered. That is not a logistics delivery center. But why are we here? Zombie led Ju 1 inside while explaining the mustache. You're right, this is a delivery distribution center. If viewed from the outside. But in fact it is the headquarters of the hero's ACU. Only when Yumi held up her identity card in front of the camera. Then the giant door opened. Large space behind the door. Making Ju 1 gasp in surprise. Countless famous heroes are gathering here. And in the middle of the room is a giant golden statue. After passing through a forest of heroes, the two arrived in front of a meeting room. Before entering the zombie, be careful. We came here just to observe the situation. So wait here and don't attract anyone's attention. That is where the heroes meet. These members, they are the key heroes of 4 hero teams. After completing the instructions, Chomi immediately entered the classroom. And Yu 1 stood outside watching.
True or tray?
Just started. Captain of the 2nd Division of the Haste Defenders. Banged the table and shouted loudly. Why are criminals becoming more and more active? Become more. The captain of Uberman Triang's first team immediately spoke up. That is it. Due to some incidents happening in your area. Number of incidents in other areas. No increase at all. Actually, for others the incidence of incidents decreased. It wasn't that she was too bad at her assigned job. Or why Haste angrily pointed his finger at Triang and shouted loudly. That's because you took some of my personnel. And so, a war of words between the captains took place. No one gives in at all. When Yu 1 witnessed this scene, he was a bit surprised. This is truly a meeting of heroes. Star representative. But it looks so strange, it looks more like a war. Just when things are tense. The captain of Alconner's first team was very vocal. More important is where Justice I is. Haven't seen him for a week. And Ivo immediately laughed. Maybe, like the rumors that he's dead. Haste punched the table hard. His entire body emitting murderous aura. Don't think you have a mouth. Then you can spout meaningless words. I won't forgive you if you say bad things about Justicey. And Ivo is not to be outdone. But stand up and use your ability. Try it. Compared to Justice, you are nothing, you know. Right now. High Union Team Captain Messi shouted loudly to quell the riot. She looks like she has to look after the children. So big after that. Messi immediately asked Chomi if Rock had any contact. Chomi calmly answered no. He told me he would be gone for a while. But still no contact back. At this moment, the captain of the second team of Alcondo Pandora speak up to interrupt. That's a lie. Because I haven't seen Rotoshi in a while. So I went to his house. And there I saw blood on the floor. The heroes started chatting. There was a stir when I heard these words. As for the zombies, they ask, wait a minute. She illegally trespassed on Jusk's house. But without permission. Right now zombies are very vocal. Is that true? The space was immediately quiet. 01 sound. And all eyes turned to the zombies. Zombie was silent, not knowing what to say. She was extremely confused right now. If she already knew the scene, then I can't lie. If this continues, everything will be revealed. At this moment, Yotoshi boldly walked in. Eliminate the tense atmosphere. Sorry for being absent for so long. I will explain everything. Just saw Justicey mold. Everyone's faces lit up with joy, as expected of being the #1 hero. But they don't know that. This Justicey is actually just a fake name. The most surprised person right now is Yumi. What is that idiot doing? Those questions could have stopped. If there is a mistake, he could have his cover blown. But Ju-won is extremely confident in herself. This place has many heroes on a large scale. Even though I'm very worried. But I'm quite used to deceiving people. Stride tone and familiar posture when standing. Everything is perfect. The effort of a week of staying up all night. Yuan's awakening paid off. You cosplayed the DC perfectly, without revealing any loopholes. At this time, Nivil spoke up. I don't understand why he's so natural, even though it's late. But please give us a reasonable explanation. Why is your apartment in that condition? And where have you been for a long time? Knowing that everyone knew about the crime scene, Ju-won immediately thought of a reason and spoke up. That there was a plot to kill me. All heroes are surprised and buzzing about what they heard. No one dared to believe that it was true, but based on the serious attitude that Ju-won shows, makes everyone worried. The most surprised person here is What Hayes. Why have you been silent until now? He didn't even tell me. Ju-won remained calm and continued. I have to be careful about my actions. Consider the situation. Yumi and I have to keep it a secret to investigate everything. Although now,
Primer kan sayanting to nyo na.
and I have very few important clues. When I see people discussing this issue, just as expected, Ju-won goes to the next step. By the way, Pandora, who allowed you to enter my house? Ju-won acts realistically. Make a true hero like Pandora. Also feel the pressure. She hugged the teddy bear tightly in her arms and said, I'm just worried. Ju-won then held his head and sighed. Because I didn't make that plot public. So the investigation will be even more difficult. The perpetrator will be more careful. Pandora's face was sad with tears in her eyes. Sorry, I made a mistake. Ju-won seriously reprimanded the judgment. Your negligence really deserves 7 disappointments. In his heart he was happy, because everything went according to plan. And the discussion will end here. But nothing is that easy. Gratitude immediately spoke up. A murder plot against you. I mean, something like that happened in the middle of the city. But no one knows. We need to check first. Was it really an assassination? In other words, it's your plan. After hearing this, Ju-won looked confused. He didn't know what triumph meant. Pandora saw that and immediately denied it. But Justici lied to us again about such a thing. Although you can ask the old man. Ju-won was about to thank her. Pandora's tone suddenly changed. But you're too good. He cares very much about the people. That's why criminals are careful. And stay away from the zones. He often comes. Let's kill them all. Otherwise, many new criminals will appear. And people will be in more danger. John also voiced his approval of this opinion. He said, criminals despise heroes. That's why this assassination incident happened. Yuan was extremely surprised. Before the consensus of the heroes. Sitting here. Even though they have a bad relationship with each other. But when we talk about this, they all have the same opinion. Right on time. Yu-won doesn't know what to do next. Then Acta spoke up. Wait a minute, New York TC. If you feel it is not reasonable, please let us know the reason. And more importantly, there is a war going on. We have to go there now. The atmosphere suddenly became tense, and all eyes turned to Ju-won. Then everyone put aside the meeting and went on their way. Stay in the car. Ju-won turned back to her old self and sighed in relief. He didn't expect that one day would come. I can talk to many famous heroes. Like this now. Yumi threw him a can of water and encouraged him. Surprisingly well done. When you have created a captivating story, Yu-won is now a little more comfortable. It's still better to let them know Justice is dead. Is it true? More than that, why? They have such a huge concern with justice. Chaomi immediately explained. They have been trying to get to know each other for a long time. People who prioritize the safety of citizens. Guardians. The extremists aim to destroy Enkondo criminals. Supremacists. And think that heroes are the chosen emirs. The hunters prioritize their own union's interests. These are groups of heroes that exist. Everyone has their own thoughts and goals. After listening, then Yu-won also has a brief understanding of the current situation. He wondered about a heroine in a hurry back then. As soon as Yumi heard it, she knew who it was. Captain of the second squad of Guardians. She is a highly skilled hero. And I bet that she is the most loyal to Justice. Why do you ask that? Ju-won suddenly looked serious when mentioning this issue. When I revealed the assassination plot against JTC. Although on the outside she appeared surprised. But there was something very strange about her expression. Because my ability is to copy someone's appearance. So I'm quite sensitive to that little sign. Zombie heard it and was a little suspicious. But because there is no evidence yet. So the two of them just stopped being cautious. At this moment, a tremor suddenly occurred. It seems like the two of you have arrived at your destination. But Yu-won still doesn't understand what the hell is going on. As soon as Zombie got out of the car, he immediately explained. Surely you already know. The criminals were weaker. Since Justice appeared. Right, but since just disappeared. They encountered many difficulties. When fighting against criminals. So, they want to end it through destruction. All groups of heroes are involved in this. That means justice needs to appear. Yu-won just heard about having to appear. And fight with criminals. Then I gasped in surprise. Chaomi continued speaking now. After Justice appeared. Crime rate is decreasing. Today. We'll wipe out one of their bases. 4 teams will attack in 4 different directions. You need to be the first to reach the center. Park Place. Report back to me with this. When you get to the center. After hearing this, Ju-won panicked and shouted, wait. How can I be the one to start? For the fight against crime. But above all, I had to be the first to get there. This is not possible. She said she would help. Help me when problems arise. But Yumi's opinion has not changed. So you don't want 200 million? I will say it again, Justice is the #1 hero. If you don't show good results in a war like this, then you will be fired from your job. 200 million is not small change. So you should also work accordingly. There is no other way. Ju-won was forced to do what Yumi said. He took the communication item and turned into Justice. Thanks to the power of coins, buffs add more strength. Ju-won did not hesitate at all. Jump off the cliff. And head straight to the central area. The scene before my eyes is truly crazy. The whole city was engulfed in smoke and fire. High-rise buildings. Taken down by the power of heroes and villains. Bloody battles took place everywhere. If you don't kill, you will be killed. But it seems like the war is turning in the heroes' favor. And Ju-won won't need to intervene at all. That's because of the number of heroes deployed this time. Is extremely large. Ju-won is standing and observing the situation. Then he was met by a female hero. She was the one who saved him before. Nice to meet you again. I heard you were killed by someone. Who would spread such nonsense? This is truly a passionate fan of Radashima. When both are talking, Then a criminal suddenly attacked from behind. Heroine now. Still haven't had time to take off my helmet to fight. Well, Ju-won solved it with one punch. Even though I still can't control this energy. But it seems that without using full force, then everything will still be fine. Jung-won then inquired and learned about this heroine. The name is Mark Ray. He said goodbye to Mark Ray, then quickly moved towards the central area. On the go, criminals continuously rushed to block the way. It was like they were all destroyed by Ju-won in one fell swoop. The strength of the number one hero is truly terrifying. Have this power in your hands. Makes Ju-won remember the past. When my sister was in the hands of a criminal. I can't do anything. I don't know how I could copy it. A lost hero's ability. But if I had this power before, then Sedona and my family. It's different this time. Yuma's voice brought Ju-won back to reality. Are you okay? If you go too slow, you will be left behind. Ju-won immediately increased his speed moving forward. He silently promised that we'll use this power to help people who are in danger. Criminals on the go. Now I can only see Ju-won's back. But they seem to have no intention of stopping anymore. Because there is a very strong guy ahead. Soon the park appeared before Ju-won's eyes. At this rate, you'll be the first to arrive. But nothing in life is that easy. An ordinary tree suddenly flew to the Ju-won stage. A big criminal gradually walked towards O. Justici came to visit me.
What an honor zombie.
Just rely on the voice over the walkie-talkie. Then he recognized the identity of the criminal. Don't tell me it's Sandaway. It's a famous name among criminals. He is someone who goes around killing heroes just for fun. He killed dozens of heroes and civilians. He's too strong, you're no match. Run away, don't fight him. Zu-won after. Know this. Then decided to listen and not do anything stupid. He quickly circled around the criminal and headed towards the park. But Barca is not easily ignored. For such an opponent to be, he stomped his foot on the ground. A surrounding circle suddenly appeared. Zu-won suddenly became heavy and was grabbed by the neck and thrown away. Casa was pleased at this moment. If you want to hide, you will definitely lose. Because you're in the two-man arena barrier. Jung-won also sensed something unusual. For the body. While in here. No wonder my body became so much heavier. His power can reduce the power of others. I have no choice anymore. Even though I can't control it. And maintain strength perfectly. But look here. Ju-won then gathered strength in his fist. Then rushed to attack. Cut it out without avoiding it. He used his hand to directly block the attack. But there were no injuries. Too weak, Senza's strength has been significantly reduced. He immediately used his spear to counterattack. Ju-won though quickly backed away. But still got hit in the shoulder. He still hasn't had time to react. Again I ate another skewer in my stomach. Even though I used my hands to block it. But the spear went in quite deep. And the wound started to bleed. Barca saw that and said seriously with pride. Is this what you got, Justici? I don't understand. Why do they tremble every time they hear your name?